back, Goblin! You'll never get the One Ring from me! Hey, you wanna hear a joke?
It's a real good one.
Ah, talking skull, get it off!
Welcome my fellow Quest heads and VR nerds. This is Eyes on VR, where I play every VR game I can get my grubby little hands on, but I always have a priority on VR shooters. I also take a look at gun stocks and real life accessories as well. Today we've got something for everybody, as this game is available on PC VR, on Steam VR, and also on SideQuest as well for all you Oculus Quest players. Today we're having a look at something very new that's just come out only a few days ago. I don't really know what to say, so it's called Battle Talent. It's absolutely such a fun time. Cue the montage, let's go.
Get back! I said get back! Oh, magic! I said back! Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right, take your medicine. Oh, that was graphic. Oh, hey bud, I wouldn't walk on. Oh, there you go. I told you. Boom! Call me Legolas.
Dash stab.
Yes, warm me with your radiation. Oh, a wise guy, eh? Say hello to modern times.
Did you see all that? This is some of the most fun I've ever had in VR. This is what it's all about. And the fact that it's on Steam VR and it's on the Quest is absolutely amazing. Look, there'll be links down below and timestamps down below as well, so you can skip to a point in the review that you want to look at first, but go check out the links for the Steam VR and for the SideQuest store, because oh my god, it's so worth your time. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, it really helps out the channel, and don't forget to subscribe down below for future PC VR and Oculus Quest content. Let's get into the meat of this review. I've got a lot to say, there's a lot to see, and it's basically all amazing. So first up, this is a demo that's been 2 years in the making. This is just a taste of what the final product will be, but this contains so much content. A lot of other companies and people would release this as a full game, or at least a paid beta. But what kind of game is Battle Talent? It's a mix of a battle arena and dungeon crawler. It's Blade and Sorcery meets Gorn, and those are two of the most popular PC VR games out there. It's not quite as extravagant as Blade and Sorcery, but that is where it's going. The Quest, however, doesn't have much in the way of these kind of games, apart from maybe Gladius, which is an ancient Rome Colosseum melee fighter that's available on SideQuest, but it will cost you your hard-earned monies to get a hold of it. Battle Talent is somewhere to get creative in combat. It's also great exercise, believe you me, because you will work up a sweat here. But no matter what it is, what kind of game it is, with the physics and combat this game offers, it is always fun and it's always brutal. And now, a word of warning before I get into this review. Make sure if you get a hold of this and download it that you have space. There will be times where you're ducking, weaving, swinging wildly through the air, so just be careful and make sure you play this game with plenty of space or somewhere you know where you're not going to end up hitting anything. Battle Talent is available on both the Oculus Quest 1 and the Oculus Quest 2, but it's also available on Steam VR, so anyone with a headset is welcome here. Just to be clear though, I will be capturing footage and playing this game on the Oculus Quest 2. So now if you're on the Oculus Quest, you can find Battle Talent on SideQuest, and of course PC VR players, it's available on Steam VR. Links for both of those are in the description. So when you first jump in, you'll be greeted with a menu where you can sort out your height, language, brutal level, which basically just means your gore level, and your movement type. Now your movement type determines what a pain it's going to be to sprint in this game. Swing arms means that you will have to swing your arms like you're the protagonist in a normal FPS just to sprint, and it's a massive pain. Turn this off for always sprinting, it will make for such a better experience. Now, if you're watching this video and not just listening, you're going to see a fair bit of footage of me swinging my arms to run, and my goodness, it was hurting me inside. I'm not sure why games do this. It's like having the locomotion settings by default to moving in the direction of your hands and not your head. Which, by the way, movement and direction in this game by default is to follow your head movement, so props for that. So after you've set all that, you'll be placed into the tutorial. This will teach you pretty much everything you need to know, from weapon handling to movement, blocking, parrying, enemy types, powering up weapons. It's pretty extensive, so you'll be well equipped after going through it. There's no doubt about that. One of the things you'll probably notice as well is that you have a fully rendered body. This is very much like AIM XR, or the alternative option you now have in Contractors to have a fully rendered body and not just be floating hands. Now, my character was always squatting for some reason, and I'm over 6'1", so I'm not sure who that body was designed for to make this character model stand up straight. Let me know in the comments if your character's body was also working on their glutes the entire time you played this game as well. After that, you'll come into the main area where you'll see a nice tribute to all the testers that have helped out with the game, and a message with ways that you can help out the dev if you really like the game. Now go through this doorway to the end of the walkway and a menu will come up. Now when the menu pops up, it will follow your eye line for a couple of seconds before freezing in place, so just make sure you look straight ahead for a couple of seconds, because otherwise the menu just ends off somewhere up in the sky. And you can still use it, but it's just a bit of a pain when it ends up way far away from exactly where you need it to be. When you're at this menu as well, it will bring up your HUD so that you can see your health and your mana levels as well. Now the menu will give you 3 options. First up is the store, which is not what you think. Only in-game coins are spent here, and those coins are only coins that you earn while you're in-game. So don't worry, we're not talking microtransactions over here. With those coins, you can buy upgrades for yourself, like extra melee damage, increase your max health, or even get more weapons, from a double-handed, fully Lord of the Rings Return of the King type double-handed sword, axes, clubs, or even a very familiar God of Thunder's hammer. Then there's the settings menu, and you get a whole host of settings, if I'm honest with you as well. You get post-processing, you get resolution, which I think just bumps up your textures really after using it. I think these two are more for PC users wanting to up the quality from the default settings that make this game run so nice and smooth on the Quest systems. Because when you start to bump up that resolution settings on the Quest, you do start to get frame rate issues. So I would say Quest players, just keep these settings at default. But that's a nice touch, and it shows accommodation for everybody. Onward. Take note of this. Being able to up the graphics if you're on PC. Cough, cough. Onward. Take note of this. Also, there's your HUD level in the settings, which just means your HUD visibility. After talking with the dev of the game, I can say that he's definitely not a native English speaker, but he is a very helpful and nice guy, and he is in search of a translator for more accurate text within the game as well. Anyway, you can also adjust sounds, you can adjust your snap turn settings, and so on and so on. Just click the white arrow in the right corner of the menu to get access to all of the rest of the settings as well. So next is the level selector. There are 7 levels in total, though one of these is a sandbox mode, which I'll get to later. So let's call it 6 levels technically. Out of these 6, 4 of them are arenas. Now these arenas work like a horde mode. Once you're in, you'll have to survive waves and waves of enemies coming at you until you've dealt with them all. But no sweat, these are waves that do come to an end, and they are waves that you can beat. The arena you get in these horde wave levels is the same arena each time, a really big indoor high-walled arena, which is a good size, and there's plenty of room here to battle. Now, as you go through the pipeline of the maps, every time you come to a new arena, each will be more difficult than the last, which mostly just means there's more waves of enemies, more enemy types, and the numbers of enemies on screen at one time increase as well. But I will say they do get more aggressive in attacking as you go along. Now the other 2 levels here are basically good old-fashioned dungeon crawls, although they're classed as mazes here. So you'll go from room to room, area to area, finding more or better weapons, power-ups, which you can select from 3 random ones at a time. There's also a variety of upgrades to your current weapons, extra melee damage, armor damage, less damage from magics, more damage for projectiles, the list goes on. There's also crystal stands, and you can recharge your health or increase your health, your mana as well at the same time. In these dungeons, there's also traps, enemies of course, but I'm afraid there's no end of dungeon steamer trunks here, but there is a big boss at the end of these mazes, and these guys are rough on you. I mean, they are very, very aggressive, and they don't only just have melee attacks, they have ranged combat as well. These guys really put the pressure on you with constant attacks, and it's pretty awesome. Now, something to note here about these dungeons is that they are seamless. They are procedurally generated as well, so when you go into a maze, the layout, the traps, the bonuses, the enemies and their combinations of weapons, abilities, armor, difficulty, it will all be different every single time. There are a lot of assets within this game, and a lot of them you only see in these procedurally generated mazes. You can fight in the horde mode wave arena within these mazes, but in other forms than the standard. There's lots of new procedurally generated rooms to battle in. They can be full of traps or none. They can have explosive pots in or not. Plus all the exploration for bonuses, etc. I mean, there is just hours and hours of play in itself with these mazes. That is worth paying for alone. And you don't have to, because this is free. The amount of content here is staggering for something that doesn't cost any money. Now, right at the end of the map pipeline here, you will see the Sandbox level, which is something I'm a big fan of in any game. Sometimes you just want to customize your experience. Maybe you've had an idea that a dev hasn't and you want to see how it works out. Or maybe you just want to sit back, relax, and pit a bunch of AI against each other like you're some kind of god. You get even more replay ability here as well. You can select from all the enemy assets in the game and all the weaponry in the game, spawn whatever you like, and just as I said, you can pit them against each other for your own amusement, or you can join in the fun, battle more than 10 enemies at one time. And that's the other thing to note here, especially for Quest users, that this game can have 10 or more enemies on screen at one time, either just going at each other or even I'm joining in on the action, and this game still runs buttery smooth. And that's just a testament not only to the Quest 2's power, to be honest, but also the devs' optimization of the game. PC VR players, you obviously don't need to worry about any of that, even if you have 50 characters on screen, so I can only imagine what kind of fun you guys are going to get into. Now, just before we start talking about weapons and combat, I just want to say special mention for the movement in this game, because you can jump in this game, which helps with aerial combos, because yes, you can do aerial combos in this game, and I'll get into that a bit later. You can even do a quick anime style dash, which is an absolute lifesaver. If someone's creeped up behind you about to slash you down to death, you can just dash quickly out of the way and get your shot in before they manage to get you, which I really enjoy, and it saved my life quite a few times, especially when I've been in a boss fight. But it's also a great way to navigate the mazes quickly, as when enemies aren't around, your mana is completely infinite, so you can just go dashing through the maze on your feet. But still, you can go dashing through the maze, and it saves a lot of time if you don't have much time to spend in these mazes, because they are long and they take time. It really is a proper dungeon crawl, which is such a throwback, and I really enjoy it. Now it's time to talk about weapons, and you know that I love my weapons here at Eyes on VR, so it's definitely time to talk about swords. Swords and stuff. Now, I know we're all about the guns here at Eyes on VR, but you know, I don't discriminate. Swords, axes, clubs, hammers, daggers, who cares? So you've got all the fun stuff here. You've got one-handed daggers, one-handed swords, and I'm not going to leave you hanging. Of course you can dual wield these weapons. That's just so much fun. You can have a maximum of 4 weapons at one time, 2 in your hands and then 2 on your back. It doesn't matter what size these weapons are either, whether you want to have 2 daggers on your back and 2 swords in your hands. You can even have 4 two-handed swords at the same time. But in that specific scenario, you will be swinging those double-handed swords with one hand each, and that will make things very, very slow. Now, it's not just swords and daggers and close-range melee combat stuff as well. You do have access to a bow too. You can use this as a ranged weapon or a blunt weapon to beat down enemies if they do get in your face. It feels great to fire as well, this bow. You just grab the bowstring and an arrow will appear on the bow, and you can just fire it and launch a barrage of arrows without even reaching into a quiver, which is very helpful. There's also a two-handed sword, which I've mentioned before, and this thing is very, very powerful. When you swing it and you hit an enemy, you know about it, and so do they. And I'll get into how weapons feel in a moment. Now, special mention goes to the weapon physics. They react with each other, they react with everything in the environment, and they behave like they really exist within the space that you're playing in, and that's really good immersion. I really like that. Now, I'm not going to cover all the weapons in the game, or you'll have no surprises if you decide to play this, but like I've said, you can get your hands on a certain God of Thunder's hammer. Fans of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice will also be quite happy here. And now you know I love my guns. Maybe one makes an appearance in the game.
Say hello to modern weaponry, motherfucker!
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
And now while we're talking weapons, all the weapons have stats and durability. If a weapon is on the floor and you hold your hand over it, you will get to see all of the stats. A little menu will come up showing its damage and durability, its name, what type of weapon it is, etc. Now you want to get a certain amount of hits with every single weapon before it breaks, of course, because that is what durability is. But if you're really attached to a certain weapon and it begins to glow red, indicating that you're low on durability, by the way, which is very helpful, because sometimes you get so engaged in the combat, you don't realize your durability is almost at 0. But if you take a weapon that's glowing red or just low on durability, put it over your shoulder and leave it in your backpack, I suppose, it will recharge the durability over time. So these weapons are all well and good, but how do they feel? How is the combat? That's what's really important here. And to be honest, it's amazing. The physics make this great to play. All the enemies are rigged up properly for their ragdoll physics. They react to hits on whatever part of the body you hit. You can slice up enemies at any angle, and you can slice off any limbs. They're all detachable. You can go full Isaac Clarke on these guys right here. The weapons also feel really weighty. They feel heavy, like they exist in this space and they have impact. The bow feels light as a feather, but I'd say that's probably the point. What's really nice is you feel the impact, and I do like to feel the impact. It's such a good impact. So great combat, top marks here. So while in combat, weapons drop as you kill enemies. Every enemy drops a weapon, so you're never short of them. Plus it means there's plenty of them to throw around. Now, all the weapons you buy in the store, they basically have a chance of dropping when you kill an enemy. You don't just get to start with them. But that happens regardless of what the enemy is carrying. So if an enemy with a dagger is killed, then he might actually drop a two-handed longsword. Now, one of the main points of this game is that it has creative combat. And I won't lie to you, you can go full Devil May Cry here and launch enemies into the air and even juggle them with various weapons that you've got as well. Being able to jump combined with a slow motion ability, we are talking proper aerial combat, the likes of which I have not played on a Quest system before, that is for sure. And like I said, with enemies dropping weapons all over the place, you can channel your inner force powers and summon any weapon within range right to you. And when I say within range, you can summon them from across the room. What is great here is that when you throw any weapon that you're holding at an enemy and summon it back to yourself, you can do this instantly. It can be halfway through the air and you can still summon it back just by pressing the grip button. And because of the great physics here, when you summon back a weapon, it does hit enemies on the way back as it returns to you. You can also grab enemies by any limb as well, grab them by the foot, leg, arm, hand, head, whatever you like. And believe me, the word human shield definitely comes to mind here. The point of this game is to get creative with the combat, and you sure as hell can. Every time you enter an arena, it's like a playground, a deadly, deadly playground. Now there's some heads up display help here as well when you're fighting enemies. If you look to the edge-ish of your vision, you'll see little yellow dots. These indicate enemies and where they are in the environment. It's really helpful as an enemy tracker because they can sneak up behind you and you just can't keep your eyes on everyone at the same time sometimes. And as an added bonus, these yellow dots will expand and go red when someone is launching an attack at you or taking a swing at you, so you know really when you need to move, and that's where that dash comes in handy. But this did only happen to me twice, and I have absolutely no idea how I did this. So if you can figure it out, let me know in the comments down below. So now we know where we're fighting, we know what we're fighting with, who are we fighting? There's a good variety of enemies here. Most of them are skeletons of varying styles, but there are also dark elves and goblins as well. So let's start at the bottom. You've got your normal skeleton enemy. His weapons can vary from a sword to an axe or a club. Then you've got your armored skeleton. These guys will take quite a beating before losing the armor, so be smart and aim for the exposed spots. Though some weapons do damage armor and make it fall off faster and better than others. Now you do get your heavily armored enemies too. These guys need real attention as they do not go down easy. Also there's enemies with shields as well, so enjoy that one. If you want my advice, go for the feet. These skeletons, they don't even wear shoes. Fools! Now when it comes to goblins, they are just that. They're completely exposed, no armor, easy to deal with, but they are very aggressive. They will launch hits at you frequently and quickly. The dark elves can be armored or not armored, but they aren't too difficult. They are fast though. Now there's also ranged magic enemies as well, mostly skeletons that launch little balls of death at you, I suppose you could say. And as with any game where there's melee and ranged combat, I would say deal with the ranged guys first. But at the end of the day, if you can't deal with them, because sometimes you can't deal with them first, grab an enemy or grab a corpse and start using it as a human shield. But I will also say that if you just line yourself up properly with enemies, these magic ranged enemies, their attacks do hit their friends as well. So it will kill other enemies for you. So be smart.
Oh, bro, no. You've killed your friend. What's that about? That sucks.
So what's the conclusion here? Battle Talent is a very fun game. If you don't have access to PC VR and some of the great melee combat games that they have on there, like Blades and Sorcery, this is a huge win for Quest owners because we just don't really have this kind of thing. But I do think this offers unique features here as well for PC VR players, like the procedurally generated mazes and the extras in the weaponry as well. The physics and the combat are the stars of the show here. The combat is so smooth. It is buttery smooth. I never had a frame rate drop in this game until I started messing with the graphics settings and just trying to turn it up as high as it could go. This game has so much content. Like I said about the mazes, it's also got this sandbox mode as well, which means you can create as many custom scenarios as you like. There's even save slot in the sandbox so you can save your custom scenarios. You can get hours and hours, days and weeks and months of play out of this game, and it's all for free. Like I said, this is the amount of content people would charge you for. Now you've probably noticed I spent most of this review just gushing over how great the game is and how well it runs, and to be honest, I can't really say that I ran into any bugs at all. The arms can feel a bit stiff sometimes, I suppose, and for some reason my character's body was just squatting the entire time, even though I'm well over 6 foot, so I'm not sure who that body was designed for, but it doesn't affect the game at all. It doesn't make you shorter in game or anything like that. You just happen to look like you're doing squats when you look down. The main room on the walkway as you're going out into the menu to select levels, you can see the textures kind of sharpened before your very eyes as you're walking along, but I've only seen it in that main part. I've never seen it when I'm playing in the sandbox. I've never seen it when I'm in the arenas. I've never seen it while I'm in the mazes. I think that is just that texture on that walkway. All I can say is it's really well optimized. It looks good, it feels good to play, and it's free. Years of work has gone into this, and it really shows. Go play it and show some support for this dev, even if it's just by adding this game to your Steam wish list, or drop in on the Discord, there'll be a link down below for that, and just say how much you enjoy the game, or if you have any issues, give some feedback to the dev, because there's something really great going on here. And the full release is meant to come out in March or April in 2021, so keep an eye out for that, because there's only going to be improvements up until that point, until the full release comes out. So go out there, get this game, draw your sword, and feel like a gladiator. And that's it for Battle Talent. I told you it was amazing, didn't I? Didn't I? Ah, so fun. I've had a blast with this game. There are some things that could be worked on, but again, this has only just been released. It's been developed by one person, so everything is up for interpretation here, really, apart from the physics and the amazing fun that you're having playing this game. It's free, go try it. How could you not try this for free? It is absolutely amazing. I cannot sing higher praises enough. So if you like Blade and Sorcery but you don't have access to PC VR, this is getting really close and for free as well. And that's all there is to say, really. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It really helps out the channel. I'd love to hear what you think about the game after you've tried it, or what you think from seeing it in the video. Don't forget to leave that in the comments down below. I love talking to you guys. It really is one of the parts of this that is the most fun of having a YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe down below as well for future PC VR and future Oculus Quest content. And while you're here, why not go check out some of my other reviews? You can check them out in the playlist here. Apart from that, I'm all done, and I'll see you guys next time.